Anyone, any doubts in the previous class topics? Anyone, any doubts in the previous class topics?
No, sir.
Okay. Should I explain the previous problems 1 to 5 or I should continue? Yeah, my voice is audible.
Yes, sir.
So any repetition required for the previous problems 1 to 5 or should I start with the continuation? Yeah. So only 35 students joined. So till then I will explain the previous problems. So whenever a problem is given, you need to know what is the h distance, what is the h value, d value. H is nothing but the distance above from HP. So this is my HP horizontal plane. What is the vertical distance? If it is a above HP, it is a positive H. If it is a below HP, negative H. So this is my vertical plane. So anything in front of vertical plane is a positive D. Anything behind vertical plane is a negative D. So those things you need to understand before starting anything. And then you have to decide it is which quadrant, whether it is the first quadrant, second quadrant, or third quadrant. In the first quadrant, both H and D are positive. In the second quadrant, D is negative, H is positive. In the third quadrant, H is negative and D is negative. In the fourth quadrant, H is negative and D is positive. So these are the things you need to remember while starting this one. And because this is a H distance, this H distance will be above on, it will be reflected on VP. It is reflected on VP, and whatever the D distance, this D distance will be reflected on HP. So this D distance 30 mm will be below XY line and 20 mm above XY line. And with respect to the H distance, you will get the front view. Front view you need to represent like a small letter A dash and the H distance. And this is my D distance. This D distance is the nothing but the top view. The top view you should write as a small letter. So these are the things you need to remember before starting the problem. So same thing. And importance of using the pencils. So draw everything with the H pencil, XY line, everything with the H pencil, and give the dimension such as 20 and 30. The dimension you should represent with the 2H pencil. And you need to highlight this point. You have to again highlight this point. After drawing the vertical line, you have to highlight this point with the HB pencil. Compulsory, you have to use all the 3 pencils by using this method. Okay. And whenever anything lying on HP, whenever any point lying on HP, H equals 0. Whenever any point lying on VP, D equal to 0. These things you have to remember before starting the problem. Okay. So as a 2 marks question in the previous for your senior, they asked point lying on HP, point lying on VP. So you have to understand anything lying on that point lying on HP, H equal to 0, point lying on VP, D equal to 0, you have to assume and you have to start. Okay. And D can be either 0 or positive. Okay. If it is a 0, we consider it as positive. If anything less than 0, then we will take it as negative. 0 we consider as positive number in the drawing. Okay. Same thing. So I will start this side view. So I'll start this side view. So everyone watch here carefully. Okay. Yeah. I'm stopping the share. Watch my video. Okay. Yeah, pin to my video. So this is your vertical plane, this is your horizontal plane, this is your vertical plane, and this is your horizontal plane. So on the vertical plane, this is your vertical plane. On the vertical plane, if any object is here, you can see the front view of the object and you can see the top view of the object. Okay. And suppose if the object is very complex, you have to see the side view also. Okay. So how you will see the side view is, this is your vertical plane, this is your horizontal plane. Beside the vertical plane, you'll be creating one more plane. You will be creating one more plane. Okay. So these all the three planes are perpendicular to each other. The angle between these three planes are 90 degrees. If you see this vertical plane and horizontal plane, the angle is 90. And if you see this profile plane or auxiliary vertical plane and vertical plane, the angle is 90. Okay. So all the planes are 90 degrees to each other. Okay. And this is your plane will be like this, and observer will see from this side. Okay. And in order to see this side view, what we have to do is we have to rotate this in the backward. We have to rotate this in the backward, and we have to rotate in the clockwise so that he can see the front view, side view, and top view. All the three views he have to see. Suppose I place my object here. This distance, and this distance. Whatever may be this distance, which is projecting on the vertical plane, and whatever the distance which is projecting on the side plane, both are same. Both are having the same distance, and the h will be different. If you take the d, both the values will be same. Okay. I am sharing the screen now. So if you look at this, one, so this is your object. If you look at this one, this is my capital letter Q. This is my capital letter Q. If I look at this distance, this distance and this distance are same, and this is the h distance, it may be different. And whenever I'm projecting Q in the front view, it will project as Q dash, and whenever I'm projecting side view, it will become as Q double dash, and whenever I'm projecting in the top view, it will become small letter q. Okay. And if you see this as a square or any cube, so what is this distance is this distance and this distance. So if you see this distance, so this is my projected point q dash. Whatever the this distance, same distance it is at this point. Okay. And this is my, suppose this is my q, letter q, and what they have told is shortest distance. So this distance is same, and if this distance is same and this distance will also be same, it will become a square, and shortest distance from this is the point. Okay, so this is my xy line, and with respect to my xy line, this is my shortest distance. They are told that shortest distance of reaching the point q double dash, and since it is a square, this angle will become as 45 degrees. Since it is a square, this angle will become as 45 degrees. Okay. So whenever you see the shortest distance, it means that from this point it is touching this point. Okay. And you need to solve a problem on this one. So write down the problem in your observation notes. A point P is in the first quadrant. Its shortest distance from the intersection of point HP and VP. Okay. So where the HP and VP meets, from this point, the shortest distance they are saying. This point, the shortest distance they are saying. VP 70 mm. They told that it is 70 mm. Shortest distance it is 70 mm, and it is equidistance. Equidistance is nothing but equal distance. Okay, so this is equal distance. Whatever may be this distance, this is the same distance. Equidistance they are saying. Planes, and draw the projection of the point and determine its distance from HP and VP. So this was the question asked in the essay question. Essay question A bit and B bit, they once asked this question in the mid-1 exam. So if you see this one, this is the same principle we will be using, and we have to draw the projection. And they mentioned that this is the shortest distance. This shortest distance is 70 mm they mentioned. Okay. So how you have to draw is, first you have to draw the XY plane. First you have to draw the XY plane. And with respect to XY, you have to draw the X1, Y1. Next you have to draw the X1 and Y1. And mark the center as O. Mark the center as O. And from this distance, because they told that it is equidistance, because in the problem they mentioned it is equidistance and shortest distance. Shortest distance is nothing but this point and this point I am joining directly. If I am joining these 2 points directly, if it is a square has equidistance, so in the equidistance it will be same. Okay. Then you have to draw keep your protractor, mark 45 degrees line, mark 45 degrees line, extend the line, join from the point and measure it till the 70. Suppose 70 comes here, then erase this line and mark this point as P double dash, because in the question they asked that letter P, the point P. In the problem they told that point P. So side view of a point, capital letter P will become as P double dash. Okay, P double dash, and this is my distance. Whatever may be this distance, the same distance will be transferred till here. Measure this distance. This distance is equal to this distance. Whatever the distance it will take to reach X1, Y1 line, same distance you have to give it to here. And measure this one as P dash. Measure this as P dash. And because they have told that it is equidistance, whatever may be this distance, it will become same distance like this. Or else what you have to do is, if you don't know this distance, what you have to do is, generally what we do is extend this line. From the P double dash, extend this line to bottom and take your compass. Take your compass and measure this distance. This is a radius and this is your center. This is a complete radius and this is your center of your compass. Place your pencil here and then draw the curve. If you draw the curve, it will take to the same position. Okay, and mark this point as P. Why we have to take this one is, once watch my video. So this is your side view. This is your side view. So what happens is, when I am rotating like this, this angle is 90. This angle is 90. So whenever I am rotating like this taken curve. This is the radius. This is the radius, and I am taking the curve. So that's the reason. Whenever I want to make the projection from this distance, I have to make the projection like this. I have to take a compass and I have to draw my compass from here so that I will get the exact point from that. Okay, that's the reason we will take this thing. Okay, so once again I'm explaining. You have to draw this vertical line and then measure. This is the radius. Keep your pencil pointer here and draw the arc. This arc should touch the X1 Y1 line. This arc should touch the X1 Y1 line. From here, draw the horizontal line. Wherever it touch, from this point you have to draw the horizontal line and project this line. If you measure exactly 49.5 mm and 49.5 mm. So it's nothing but the your H distance. Your H distance is 49.5 mm and your D distance. Your D distance is also 49.9. Because in the problem already they told that it is a first quadrant. Whenever it is a first quadrant, H is positive. Whenever H is positive, it will be above XY line. Whenever D is positive, it will below XY line. These are things you have to remember. Okay. Yeah. Any doubts you can unmute and you can ask. If anyone any doubts, you can unmute and you can ask. This problem was asked in the essay question. In 2018, they have asked this as an essay question. 18 or 19, they have asked this as an essay question. Okay. Any doubt, you can unmute and you can ask.
Sir, can you repeat about the angle why we are taking it?
Repeat.
About the angle, sir.
About the angle, okay. Yeah, okay. So look carefully. So first, I'll explain once again. Listen carefully. So first, draw the XY line of your own length. Draw the XY line and draw the vertical line. Mark the center as 0. Mark the above as X1 and Y1. Okay. If you see this point, wherever the intersection, wherever the HP plane, VP plane and AVP plane are touching, from that point, it is a shortest distance. It is a shortest distance of 70 mm, they are told. So what you have to do is, from here you have to take a protractor, mark a angle of 45 degrees. Suppose this is a 45 degrees, extend this 45 degrees line, and wherever it is going to 70, wherever this inclined distance is 70, mark the point. Mark the point as P double dash, because it is a side view, you have to mark it as P double dash and measure this distance. Measure this distance. Whatever this distance, give the same distance to this side, because it is a equidistance. Same. And mark the point as P dash. Mark the point as P dash. This is the front view. This is the front view of the point. And this is my side view of the point. Okay. Then you have to locate P dash. P is nothing but the top view. You have to locate the top view. There are two methods. First method is that you can project this, draw the same vertical line and create a square, this point, and whatever the distance, mark the point as N. Mark the point as N, small letter N. Mark the point as N, and wherever this distance is touching horizontal line, mark the point as M. M and N you are marked. Then 0 to N is the radius. 0 to N is the radius, and O is the center. Keep your pencil here, and then draw the arc. It will come somewhere here. Okay. And then from here, draw a horizontal line. Draw a horizontal line, and this horizontal line should intersect this vertical line. This horizontal line should touch this, intersect this vertical line. Then mark the point as P. Mark the point as P. If you measure this distance, this distance is 49.5 mm, and this distance is 49.5 mm. In the problem, they are asking what is the measured distance. Determine the distance. They have asked what is the determine the distance from HP and determine the distance from VP. So the H distance is 49.5 and the D distance is 49.5. Okay. So they are asking what is the H distance, what is the D distance. Just because of 70, by using this 70 mm at a 45 degrees angle, we are finding what is the H value, what is the D value we are finding here. Okay. Yeah. Any doubts you can unmute and you can ask. This is an important question, can be asked in the exam. Yeah. Any doubts you can unmute and you can ask. Any doubts you can unmute and you can ask.
Sir, calculations are written in the drawing sheet, sir.
Yeah, you have to write this calculations. 49.5. You have to write this. Measured distance is 49.5 and measured distance is 49.5. You have to write. You have to represent this 70. You have to represent this 45 degrees. You have to represent.
Sir,
No need of writing any data. Directly you have to draw only this one. Draw this one. It is completed.
okay, sir. Like in previous questions, we have mentioned, sir, what is the quadrant?
Yeah,
and
that also you won't be writing. You won't be writing these values. Given data, you won't be writing anywhere. You won't be writing any given data. Given data is not required. Finally, I want only this one. Draw only this one. No need of writing any given data anywhere.
at least like for our
For your, you can write. For your understanding, you can write, but there's no need. In the rough work, you can write the given data. At side, you can write this as the rough work, and in the rough work, you can give your given data.
in the same sheet only we can have rough work, sir.
Yeah, rough work. You can write beside, draw a box and write rough work, and then you can do it. Okay.
Okay, sir.
No need of writing any given data. Directly you can, because just by looking the letter C, when I look at the letter small letter C, I know that this is my front view. Small letter C is the top view. So I can know that this is my top view and this is my D distance. Okay. Whenever I see C dash is nothing but the front view. So I know that this is my front view, and for the front view, this is my H. And whenever H is below XY line, it is negative H, and whenever D is above XY line, it is negative D. So I can know these things. So no need of writing anything. No need of writing this is my horizontal plane. No need of writing this is my vertical plane. No need. Just write what are the front view of the object of the alphabet and top view of the alphabet. Just those things and represent these values. Then we can know what is the value. Any
Okay,
doubts
sir.
you can write. Any doubts you can unmute and you can ask.
Yes, we have gone through this.
So I hope no doubts. So this is about the 7th problem. This was once asked in 2018. They have asked this problem. Same problem they have asked. This is the Endibert problem. Yeah. So this is what your seniors have drawn. So here you have to represent the arrowheads. Your seniors have forgot the arrowhead because in the problem there is no arrowhead. You have to extend this line and you have to give the arrowheads and represent the value as 70. Write down it as 45 degrees, and for 45 degrees also you have to mention the arrowheads. And don't forget to write P dash, P double dash, P dash, P, and you have to write XY. Whenever you are using this projection of points, lines, scales, anything, first draw the XY line. First step, draw the XY line. Then you have to draw the X1, Y1 line. Then you have to write N and M. N, M you have to write. Okay. So this is the problem. So write down the next question. Yeah, write down in your observation notes. And tell me, write down the observation notes and tell me what is the H value, what is the D value, and it is in which quadrant. Quadrant also I want for all these things. Create a table for the point A. What is the H value? What is the D value? For the point B, what is the H value? What is the D value? What is the C? For the C, what is the H value, D value, positive or negative? For the D, what is the H and D value? For letter E, what is the H value, D value? What is for the letter F? What is the H value, D value? For the letter G, what is the H value, D value, and what is the quadrants? I will give you 2 minutes time. Create a table and tell me the answers fast. I'll give you 2 minutes time. Calculate H, D, and quadrant. For all fail the subject. So whenever I say to practice, compulsory practice. And once you fail the subject, it is difficult to pass. That's the reason practice very carefully and attend all the classes. If you miss one class, you don't understand the other class. That's the reason I'm posting the online class link also, but no one is watching. Anyone who is absent, compulsory watch the video so that you will be understanding. Okay. Yeah, can anyone tell me what is the H value for letter A?
0, sir.
It is
0.
H is
0, na, sir.
0, sir.
H is 0. What is the D value?
Minus 20.
Minus 20. And what is the quadrant?
Second quadrant, sir.
Second quadrant. And for B, what is the H value?
40 plus 40
Plus 40. What is the D value?
plus 25.
Plus 25. Quadrant.
First quadrant.
First quadrant. For the C, what is the H value?
40,
Plus
sir.
40.
Plus 40. What is the D value?
0.
0. What is the quadrant?
First quadrant.
First quadrant. And what is the D? Letter D. H value?
Minus 25, sir.
Minus 25. What is the D?
Minus 25, sir.
Minus 25. What is the quadrant?
Third quadrant.
Third quadrant. And for letter E, what is the H?
Plus 15.
Plus 1 5. Yeah. Next, what is the D value?
Minus 50. Sir.
Minus 50.
50. What is the quadrant?
Second quadrant.
Second quadrant. For the letter F, H value?
Minus 40.
Minus 50. What is the D value?
Plus 25.
Plus 25. What is the quadrant?
Fourth quadrant.
Fourth quadrant. So for the letter G, what is the H?
0. Both
0.
are 0.
0, sir.
What is the quadrant?
First quadrant.
Only first.
Third also, sir.
Origin, sir. Origin, sir.
It lives in the first to fourth. All quadrants, it is possible. All quadrant, it is possible. In the first quadrant, it is possible. Second quadrant, it is possible. Third quadrant, fourth quadrant. Because it is at the axis. It is at the origin. Whenever it is origin, it belongs to first quadrant, it belongs to second quadrant, it belongs to third quadrant, it belongs to fourth quadrant. Okay. So before solving this problem, you have to compulsory make sure that you are making the quadrants. So whenever I say point A, it is in the HP is 0. Whenever the H is 0, H is 0 and D is minus 20. Whenever the D is minus 20, it is possible in the second quadrant and third quadrant because 0, because the letter 0, because this is your quadrants and it is H is 0 and D is negative. Whenever the D is negative, it is possible in the second quadrant and third quadrant. Okay. So the other reason quad stat is second and third. And whenever it is H is positive, D is positive. H is positive and D is positive. It will be in the first quadrant, only first. It doesn't deal with other. Whenever it is 0, then it may be more than one quadrant. Whenever it is 0, it is more than one quadrant. Whenever it is positive or negative, it will be only one quadrant. Okay. And coming to C, VP is 0. This VP is 0. Whenever VP is 0, then it can be anything. And you have to see the D distance. The D is, whenever the D is 0, H is positive. H is positive. Whenever the H is positive, it can possible in two cases, either in the first quadrant or second quadrant. So first or second, you have to write in the table. Next, coming to D, both are negative. Whenever both are negative, it lies in only one quadrant, that is third quadrant. Because this is negative and this is negative. H is negative and D is negative. So it will lies in the third quadrant. And here, letter E, H is positive and D is negative. So only this one, H is positive and D is negative. So it will come in the second quadrant, only second quadrant. And in this case, in the for the letter F, H is negative. Whenever the H is negative, two cases are possible, either third quadrant or fourth quadrant. So you have to see the letter D. D is positive. And D is positive. So D is positive is nothing but this case. So only fourth quadrant is possible. And next, whenever H is 0, you have to see the other D distance. D is also 0. Then it lies in the first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, and fourth quadrant. Whenever you see the letter 0, more than one is possible. Whenever you see 0, either in H or D, more than one is possible. Whenever you see the 0 in D, more than one is possible. Okay. Whenever both H and D are 0, it will lies in first, second, third, and fourth. Okay. So this thing you have to remember. Yeah. So you have to create a table, point A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Then quad status. What is the quadrant? Second and third, first and second, third, second, fourth, first, second, third, fourth. Okay. So these are the values. And you have to draw all these things on a single XY line. You have to draw all these things on a single XY line. You have to draw. So if you see the problem once, so they mentioned that draw the projection of the following points on the same ground line. Ground line is nothing but XY. Ground in your engine drawing means that it is XY line. Same ground line. And suppose I am drawing the letter A. For the capital letter A, I am drawing A to B. Distance should be 25 mm. It should be 25 mm apart. give a distance of 25 mm and then draw it. If you want to draw the letter C, give a 25 mm distance and draw the part. Then again give 25 mm distance, draw till the G. This is my G line. So G line, give the equal spacing distance of 25 mm equally. This is also the Endibert problem. It is in the exercise problem. Okay. So what we have to do is we have to draw the, we have to understand. First draw the, don't draw this one in your drawing sheet. Drawing sheet, you will be drawing the final parts like this. One single line you will be drawing. So this is your quadrants. Point A. This is my point A. So point A, H is 0. So it is lying 0 and it is in the 20. It is lying below 20. So it means that it can be possible in the second and third quadrant. And point B, H is 40 and D distance is positive 25. So it is the first quadrant. So next letter C. If you look at the letter C, the D is 0. Vertical plane, it is 0. And the H distance is 40. Whenever H distance 40, it can be possible in the first quadrant and in the second quadrant it is possible. And whenever you see the letter D, this is my letter D, it is negative H minus 25 and negative D minus D is 25. Okay. So it is lies in the third quadrant. Next letter E. If you look at the letter E, vertical height, H distance is 15 mm and from the vertical plane, it is negative 50, minus 50. But you shouldn't be representing minus or positive whenever you are drawing on XY line. So it is the second quadrant. If you look at the letter F, it is negative. From the horizontal plane, it is minus 40. And on the vertical plane, it is 25 mm in front of vertical plane. Okay. So it comes as a fourth quadrant. Next is letter G. This letter G is located at this point, at the origin it located. So it can be possible in the first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, and fourth quadrant. All the things it is possible. Okay. Yeah. So I hope you understand this one. Any doubts you can unmute and you can ask. If anyone has any doubts, you can unmute and you can ask. Understand this one carefully. If you are not understanding, it will be a problem later on. That's the reason I'm explaining. Yeah. So I hope everyone understood. So I'm going to the next slide. Next, you have to draw the XY line. So first draw the XY line. Draw the XY line. And then from this point, draw a line. Because H is 0. Whenever H is 0, with respect to H value, the small letter will be there. With respect to H value, the small letter will be there. Yeah. So with respect to H, the small letter A dash will be there. You have to write A dash. Because H is 0, so it will be 0. And D is negative. Whenever D is negative, whenever D is positive, so I will write here, whenever this is positive, H will be above XY line and positive D will be below XY line. Whenever it is reverse, it will negative H will be below XY line and negative D will be above XY line. This thing you have to remember. This thing you have to remember. And with respect to H, you will get that small letter and dash. And with respect to D, you will get the small letter. These things you have to remember. And this is my point A dash and negative D. Whenever the D is negative, it will go above XY line. The distance is 20. So give the distance as 20. And with respect to D, it is the top view and small letter. And with respect to H, it is my front view. With respect to H, it is my front view. And I have to represent this with a small letter and dash. Whatever may be the letter, small letter and dash I have to represent. So this is a letter point A. So I have to write this as A dash. I have to write this as A. Top view, I have to write this as A. This one I will be writing as A dash. So A is completed. Next is the B distance. So B distance, H is positive. So it will be above XY line. And you have to write it as B dash. With respect to H, it will be small letter and dash. So this is my H distance. I have to write it as 40. And next I have to come down. D is positive. It will come negative at the below XY line. So write it as 25 and write this as small letter B. Okay. Next, coming to C, D is 0. So whenever D is 0, it will comes. So this point you have to write it as 0 because there is no intersection. You have to write some point. So here intersection is overlap with the A dash. So I'm writing A dash. Here it is, there is no value. So I have to write this as O. Center, I have to write it as O. Then I have to draw one more line. D is 0. So D points lies here. So whenever D is 0, I have to write this small letter. So small letter C, I will be locating on XY line, on my XY line. And H is positive. Whenever H is positive, it will be above XY line. So it is 40. And I have to write this as already I have mentioned C. So I have to write for H distance, I have to write small letter and dash. So C dash. Next, coming to D. So whenever H is negative, it will come below XY line. It will come below XY line. And I have to write that letter and dash. That small letter and dash I have to write. This is my H distance. And this is my D distance. Whenever D is negative, it will come above XY line. Whenever D is negative, it come above XY line. With respect to that, I have to write this small letter. So I'm writing small letter D. And here there is the intersection. So I have to write this intersection O. So next is letter E. H is positive. Whenever H is positive, it will come above XY line. And I have to write the small letter and dash. So it will become as E dash. Okay. And next, this is my letter D distance. D is negative 50. Whenever D is negative, it will come above XY line. So on the same line, I have to extend. On the same line, this is my E dash distance. On the same line, I have to extend and mark the letter as 50. Mark the height as 50. And this is D. Whenever the letter, small letter D, I have to write the small letter of that. So I have to write small letter E. Okay. So E will be, small letter E will be above and E dash will be below because based on the values. Because 15 is less than compared to 50. So this is my 15 distance, 15 distance. And this is my 50 distance. Okay. This thing you have to remember. This one you have to remember. Okay. And next letter is F. In the F, H is negative 40. So whenever H is negative 40, H is negative, it will come below XY line 40. And with respect to H, small letter and dash. So small letter F dash. I have to take small letter F dash. And next is the D distance. D is positive 25. Whenever D is positive, it will come below XY line. So on the same line, I have to mark a distance of 25. I have to mark a distance of 25. And for the letter D, I have to write as a small letter. So I'll write small letter F. And similarly, letter G, H is 0, D is 0. So H equal to 0 and G equal to 0. So here you have to represent G, small letter G and G dash. You have to represent compulsory. On this point only, I have to represent small letter G and small letter G dash. Compulsory, you have to remember this one. If you are not remembering, it is difficult to solve the problem. And this problem directly can ask for 10 marks. This is a ND-BUT problem. Directly they will ask for 10 marks in the exam. Any doubts, you can unmute and you can ask. Anyone, any doubts, you can unmute and you can ask. I'll wait for 1 or 2 minutes. Any doubts, you can unmute and you can ask.
Sir?
Yeah.
Sir, 0 to E, it is 50 mm, sir. 0 to E.
0 to E. Which one? This one.
In the drawing, sir, what you have drawn.
What I have drawn? 0 to E 15. Yeah, 15. This is 15. This is 50. Okay, reverse I have drawn.
Yes, sir.
No, correct only.
Correct only, sir. Understood.
Yeah, watch
Both
it.
within the drawing, sir. That's what I'm asking.
Both.
Within the same line we are drawing.
Yeah, within the same line you have to draw, because whenever you are seeing, the line will be overlapping each other, because in the second quadrant and fourth quadrant, both are overlap with each other. Both will overlap with each other. So on the same line you will be getting, whenever it is a fourth quadrant and whenever it is a second quadrant. whenever it is a fourth quadrant and whenever it is second quadrants, it will overlap, and on the same vertical line you have to draw. On the same vertical line there will be E dash, on same vertical line it will be E. On the same vertical line you will get the letter F. On the same vertical line you will get the letter F dash. It is possible only for the first and in the second and fourth quadrant it is overlap. That's the reason we don't use second quadrant and fourth quadrant. We use only first quadrant and third quadrant, because on the second and fourth it is overlaps and it is difficult to understand the views. We don't use in your upcoming sheets, you don't use second and fourth quadrant, you use only first and third quadrant. These are only standards, and in India we use only first quadrant, and in America they use third quadrant, and the second quadrant and fourth quadrant, no country uses second and fourth quadrant. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Any doubts you can unmute and you can ask, because this is an important problem. Once again watch this problem, and any doubts inform me. I'll clarify doubts here only, because later I won't be explaining this problem again. So listen carefully, and I'll also upload the today's online class in the Google in our classroom, so that watch it once again. If you have any doubts, watch it once again. Okay. Yeah, everyone raise your hands. I'll be taking the attendance. Within 1 minute, everyone need to raise the hands. Anyone not raising will be marked as absent. Within 1 minute, everyone need to raise their hands. Anyone not raising the hands will be marked as absent. Only 32, 33 members raise their hands. 34, 33, 35. Following roll numbers needs to raise: roll number 2, roll number 4, roll number 7, roll number 9, 17, 28, 30, 33, 36, 54, 6, and 39. If you are not raising your hands, you will be marked as absent. I don't hesitate to mark as absent if you are not raising the hands. Once again, I am repeating the numbers: 2, 4, 9, 17, 28, 30, 33, 36, 54, 6, and 39. Compulsory you need to raise the hands. Okay. Attendance completed. I am lowering all the hands. Okay. Yeah. Any doubts you can unmute and you can ask. Any doubts you can unmute and you can ask. Don't draw this table also in the exam. Don't draw this table also in the exam. This is your rough work. Draw only this part. Draw the XY line and complete this part.
Sir, roll number 4 present.
Yeah, you need to raise the hands within the time. After that, I won't you. Okay, you have to listen every time. That's the main.
Sir, I just went to drink water.
Okay. Okay. I'm marking as present. Once again, I will ask you to raise the hands at the end of the class. At the time, raise. Okay.
Sir, your voice is not clear.
And it is not clear. Clear now?
Yes, sir.
It's clear, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So this is about my problem. Same thing. You can visualize this one and you have to draw this one. Okay. Main concept XY. Whenever H is positive, it will be above XY line. Whenever D is positive, it will be below XY line. And whenever it is reverse, whenever D is negative, it will be above XY line. Whenever H is negative, it will become below XY line. And with respect to H, I have to give small letter and dash. And with respect to D distance, I have to give the small letter. Okay. Whenever you see H, it is nothing but the front view. For the front view, you have to write it as A dash. And for the top view, you have to write it as A. D distance is nothing but the top view. You are seeing the top view of that object or points, anything. Okay. So I'm going to next problem. So this is what your seniors have drawn. They forget the G point. At this point, same point, you have to write G and G dash at the same, and make sure that the distance is 25. You are maintaining the distance 25 between these points. Okay.
Sir, below line is negative, sir.
No, it depends. It depends whether it is a H is positive or negative. It depends. Once again, I am explaining. This is the XY line. Whenever H is positive, it will above XY line, and whenever D is positive, it will below XY line. With respect to H, you have to write small letter and dash. With respect to D, you have to write small letter. And whenever D is negative, it will go above XY line, and you have to write the small letter. And whenever H is negative, it will be below XY line. It will be below XY line, and you have to write small letter and dash. You have to write. This is a concept you need to understand. And maintain this distance as 25 mm and draw. And whenever you are submitting the sheets, compulsory write your name, roll number, batch, date, sheet number, scale, everything in with a pen. Don't write with a pencil. If you write with pencil, I'll give 0 marks. You have to write it with the pen, and you have to submit. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to the next. So this is what your seniors have drawn. You have to draw like this. Okay. And compulsory highlight this point with the HB pencil. HB pencil, you have to highlight these points. Okay. Yeah. So same thing. There's a video explained how to draw. I will share this video once again in our WhatsApp group so that you can watch it. Okay. Same problem. This person has explained how to draw all these things. So next, write down the next problem. Next problem. I will ask what is the H value of point P. Same. You have to create a table. What is the H distance? What is the D distance? What is the quadrant for the letter P and for letter Q? Okay. I'll give you 1 or 2 minutes time. Write it in your notes, and whenever I ask, you have to tell me. Okay. Calculate the H distance, D distance, and quadrant for the letter P and letter Q. Everyone need to calculate. Don't depend on others. Everyone need to calculate, and they need to solve the problem. So tell me what is the P value of H of P? Positive or
Plus
negative?
15.
Plus 1, 5. Yeah.
Positive.
Positive. So what is the letter I need to write? Small letter or small letter?
Small letter dash.
Small letter dash. Also I have to write P dash. Okay. For letter, what is the value of D for P?
Plus 20.
Plus 20. What is the letter I have to write?
P, sir.
Small letter P. It is which quadrant?
First
quadrant.
quadrant.
First quadrant. For Q, what is the H value?
Minus 40, sir.
Minus 40.
Minus 40.
40. What is the letter I have to write?
Q dash.
Small
Q
letter,
dash.
small letter Q dash. For D, what is the value of Q?
Minus 25.
Minus 25. What is the letter I have to write?
Q.
Small
Small
Q.
q.
Small letter Q. Which quadrant?
Third quadrant.
So whenever, so read the question once again. Make sure that P and Q at a distance of 90. So whatever may be the P value, whatever may be the Q value, the distance should be 90 mm. Okay. And what they have asked is join the top view. Join the top view. So suppose, okay, so I need to solve the problem. So this is my XY line. XY line. Here H is plus 15. So it will be above XY line or below XY line?
Above, sir.
Above. So above at a distance of 15, I have to write it as P dash. Okay. And the D distance is plus 20. So it will be above XY line or below XY line?
Below.
Below. So here I have to write, I have to take a distance of 20 mm. I have to write this letter P. So can you tell me P dash is the front view or top view?
Front view, sir.
P dash is the front view and P is the
Top view.
top view. Okay. And then I'm coming to the letter Q. For the letter Q, H is minus 40. So it is above equivalent or below equivalent?
Below XY line.
Below equivalent. So here I'm taking 40. And what is the letter I have to write here? Q or Q dash?
Q dash.
Q dash.
Q dash because it is my front view or top view. Q dash is front view or top view?
Front view,
Front
sir.
view.
Front view. Okay. Next, my D is negative 25. So it will be above excellent or below excellent?
Above XY line.
Above.
Above excellent.
Above.
So it is 25. What is how I should represent this point?
Q.
Letter Q. It is front view or top view?
Top view, sir.
Top view. So in the problem, what they asked is join their top views. Join the top view. So this top view has to touch this top view. Okay. And in the next one, they have asked join their front views. So this front view has to touch this front view. Okay. That is the problem. The problem completed here. So same thing, you have to know what is the P and Q. So already mentioned. So the quadrants is first quadrant and third quadrant. Same thing. This is a video. We will be explaining how to draw. Okay. And this is what your seniors have drawn. So you have to maintain the distance of 90 mm and then give a height of 15 and 20. Give a height of 15 and 20. Mark the points. Mark the points P dash and P. And then Q and Q dash. P dash has to touch the Q dash and Q has to touch the P. Okay, this is a problem. So it is a simple problem. Yeah, same thing. P dash P, Q dash Q. P dash has to touch the Q dash and P has to touch the Q at a distance of 90 mm. So this is your problem number 9. Okay. Yeah, any doubts you can unmute and you can ask. Anyone, any doubts you can unmute and you can ask. And at this point, because there is an intersection here, at this point you have to write the letter O. At this point you have to write letter O. Your seniors have not written, they might have forgot. So you have to write whenever there is intersection and there is no number here, any labeling is not there for intersection, you have to write the letter O. Okay. Any doubts you can unmute and you can ask. Any doubts you can unmute and you can ask.
Sir, how many questions are we going to draw for sheet 5, sir?
Sheet 5, 10 questions. This is the last question.
Okay.
Okay. So everyone write down this question and solve this question and tell me in the next class on Saturday's class. Okay. So here we have a profile plane. On the profile plane, we will be drawing the side view. Okay. So this is a side view problem. This might ask. Till now they haven't asked this problem in the mid exams, but this time they might ask. So solve it on your own. So use your previous knowledge. So I'll give the given. I will tell the given data. So the letter is P. The letter we have to write is as P, and 50 mm above HP. So H is positive 50, and they told that 20 mm in front of profile plane. So in front of profile plane, it is 20 mm. It is not the D value. Okay, which is on the right side of the observer. Suppose this is your first quadrant and this is your profile plane. Okay, so this is your profile plane. The object P is somewhere here. Object P is somewhere here. So this P is at a height of 50 mm. At a height of 50 mm from the ground. So it will project as small letter P in the top view. Okay, and we don't know this distance. We don't know this distance. And with respect to this distance, whenever it is touching this distance, they told that it is 20 mm in front of the profile plane. It is 20 mm in front of profile plane, which is on right side of the observer. Draw the top view. You have to draw the top view, you have to draw the front view, and you have to draw the left hand side view of the object. Okay, so this is your problem. Try to solve it and tell me the solution in the Saturday's class. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Once again, everyone raise your hands. I will take the attendance. Anyone not raising now will be completely marked as absent. I don't listen any to this. This time you have to.
Sir, when is the offline class, sir?
Once again, repeat.
When is the offline classes, sir?
Offline classes, it may take some time. Government is still thinking. It depends upon government and JNTU. It is not in our hands. Yeah. Roll number 2, 6, 9, 17, 26, 28, 37, 43, 51, 54, 39. If you're not raising your hands, you will be marked as absent. Yeah. I'm marking them as absent. I'm lowering all the hands. Attendance completed, you may leave. No doubts, you can leave. No doubts, you can leave. Attendance completed. I'm lowering all the hands. Yeah, you can leave. Attendance completed, you can leave. Try to solve this problem. That's it.